Congratulations! You've decided to join the ranks of your fellow GMs and run a game for yourself. How do you do that? Hey everybody, my name is Matthew. This is, of course, Universal Game Master. Today we're talking about how you run your very first game. Let's get right into it. You have, before the game, the setup, and during the game. What you're going to do is you are going to run a one-shot. That, of course, means it's a one-time get-together that you play through and be done with by the end of the session. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be big and flashy. It just has to be a game that you can enjoy with your friends. Speaking of, you're going to need to pick who's a part of this. Don't have any more than 4 people. 4 people is your max. You probably have a lot more friends that would be excited to game with you, but this is the first time you're doing anything. Don't have any more than 4 people. Trust me, once you get even 5 people, things can start to take a lot longer than anticipated and become a lot more complicated. And of course, you gotta pick what you're gonna play. This could be the easiest decision, or this could be very difficult, because it could just be you are going to run the same game that you and your friends play. Great, you're done. That's it. However, if you want to run something that you've never played before and nobody else in your friend group has ever played before, things are going to get a little bit more complicated. You're going to have to keep things as simple and basic to that format as you can, because you can't expect everybody to read the 476 page player's handbook of Shadowrun to play one game. Hopefully you've been a player in the game that you would like to run. If not, you have a lot of extra homework, because now you have to go watch other videos, you have to see other people play, you have to get a feel for how this game works. Is it the super heroic, everybody is this awesome superhero with bullets that just ricochet off of them? Or is it designed that a gunfight could be very dramatic and the wayward bullet might end somebody? The setup. It's the 3-act structure. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. All of the cool and exciting stuff happens in Act 2. So that's kind of where the game needs to take place, leading to the probably climactic boss battle that's going to be at the end of the session. You have to give the players a few paragraphs, or maybe talk with them ahead of time, of what is going to be taking place during the one-shot. You do not have time for everybody to meet in the tavern, go into great details explaining who they are, and wander about trying to find where the adventure is, because that is taking up valuable time of this one-shot, which again needs to be done by the end of the session. You can write a pre-written one-shot, you can make up your own. I encourage you to look at other one-shots for the system that you are running, because what you will realize is they are incredibly short. Most of the stories of what's going to happen in that one-shot is 1 page, maybe a front and back, and that's it. Monster stats and maps taking up other pages, of course, but the whole story for the one-shot is probably only a couple of paragraphs, because you cannot go into great detail and have this big, huge, epic story that takes place in only a couple of hours. You know, on that note, I guess it's time to say this. This is my biggest piece of advice. I tell this to absolutely everybody running a one-shot. This is the single most important part of this entire video. Plan for half the amount of time that you plan on running. If you want to play for 3 hours, plan for an hour and a half. If you have the luxury to play for 4, maybe a little bit more hours, plan for 2 hours. Because I promise you, people looking up abilities, checking rules, doing a little bit of unexpected role playing, all of that is going to take up a lot more time than you realize. if they play really fast and they do manage to get through the entirety of the thing in a lot less time, that's okay. It can still be a satisfying experience. But if it's going to be a dungeon dive, you can't have 30 rooms with different encounters in each of those rooms. During the game, you got to keep things moving. This has to be done by the end of the session. People might have to go to work after they get done hanging out with you. You have to be mindful of that. If you've set up 5 areas for them to experience and have encounters with the 5th experience being the climactic boss battle, if they go through the first 2 rooms in 2 hours, these rooms suddenly don't exist, and the next room they walk into is that 5th and final boss fight. It's okay to railroad. It's okay to gently push them. Even flat out tell them, hey, you guys, you're going in a direction that's something I haven't really planned for. I kind of need you to go this direction. That's perfectly okay. Your gut instinct is going to say, don't do that. However, again, this has got to be done. More than ever, you are going to have to go with the flow. If there was things that you weren't anticipating, a challenge that you wanted to place before them that is very easily circumvented by somebody being able to fly, that's okay. Let them have that and move on. There's going to be a lot of weird things that might come up in games, and you just have to go with the flow. Okay, now you are completely encased in ice. You cannot move, and you are slowly suffocating because you can't breathe. Okay, I'm completely encased in ice. So, I'm gonna subtle spell cast underwater breathing. So, since ice is technically water, I can breathe, I just can't move at all. So I guess I'm just gonna sit here and chill. So you gotta go with the flow. And there you go. You just ran your first game. Hopefully, everybody really enjoyed it and everybody had a lot of fun. And potentially, they say, I really like these characters that we made. I want to do more with this. So, let's maybe make a campaign out of this. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Of course, if you have any other questions that you want to post to me or anybody in the comments, or just good ideas for one-shots, we love to hear them. We always love to hear them. And as always, until next time, UGM. Look at you and your haircut. When are you going to run a game for me? When are you going to run a game? What you going to run? Call of Cthulhu. Oh, I can't wait.